Be playful. This is the topic for this lesson. And the reason why we want to be playful more often in our relationship is to reignite this sense of lightness, the zest for life, the spiciness of life with a partner. And that helps create fast connection and also a sustainable connection from which we can build intimacy, grow our desire, our wish, and ability to be more passionate in our relationship. Having access to humor and playfulness in couples is essential if you want your relationship to be healthy and happy and sustainable over time. So I've said it before, play is the fastest way to create connection, whether it's in adults or in children. So we want to reintroduce some of it in our lives if it's been lacking a little bit. The great thing about play is that when you are having fun, when you are being playful, you are fully in the present moment. Have you noticed how young children play and are completely immersed in what they're doing? They're totally focused and nothing else around them exists in a way. Space and time disappears. When you're having so much fun doing something, the time goes by so quickly. So that's the kind of play we want to grow and to develop into our couple. Before talking a little bit more about play, let's talk about humor. Humor is really essential in a relationship. Being able to have access to humor on a regular basis will be a great foundation, especially at times when you guys are bumping into each other. You're facing some challenges, you are having a hard time, you're stressed out, you have a conflict that needs to be deflated. Sometimes when you've been able to practice humor enough in your relationship, you are able to use this humor and deflate a moment of intense negativity that could be going on in your life. I remember coaching a client, and she was a mom and a working mom at that, and she was telling me all her responsibilities, all the activities she has to do, the people she has to take care of, the things she needs to create, and this and this and that. And she felt like she had to do it all. Like a lot of us, like a lot of women in general, as I've noticed. And I got to ask her, okay, who's this person that feels compelled or that has this need to do it all and to be responsible for everything and everybody? What's her name? And without a moment of hesitation, she called herself Supermom. And being able to label herself using this highly unrealistic expectation of being the supermom, she's able to introduce it with her husband. And then at times when she freaks out or when she's overwhelmed and when she feels she cannot do it all, she can relate this to her partner, to her husband, and say, hey honey, I know I'm being supermom right now. I feel like I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to take care of this kid, I have to drive the other one there, and I have to create blah blah blah. And I know I'm being supermom. This is so silly. Like I feel like I need to vent out about all these things right now. And that's one way to de-escalate some intense emotions happening within us, and also by being able to distance yourself from what you are experiencing, your partner is better able to relate to that as well, because he or she can sense that you have this awareness of wanting to do too much as a supermom. I do make use of humor in my relationship with my husband, Steve. I do have my own quirkiness, and I do have my annoying traits and my repetitiveness and this and that. I think we all have some of this within us as human beings. And whilst my husband has some quirkiness too, I am not going to reveal any of this to you. But I can share about my own. And so I have this thing about when I organize a room in a certain way that it looks appealing, harmonious, and warm and cozy, then I like things to be put back where they belong, in the original place where I specifically strategically placed them. And so if I see my husband's tool, maybe he has like a drill or something like this going on, and it's in a house somewhere in a place where I think it shouldn't be, I tell him, hey honey, you know how I'm really into feng shui, and right now the way that the drill is on this table with a crystal and a nice lamp, it doesn't really fit. It's not really feng shui. So can you please put it away? And I think it works a lot better than being like, hey, I've told you many times, this doesn't belong here, please move it out, like now. What do you think my success rate of getting a minor behavior changed into something that feels good and positive for me and also for him? He's able to laugh about it, and he's able to be gracious about it, and I'm able to create some distance between my quirkiness and annoying trait, just by using this word of feng shui. I'm being the feng shui freak here, sorry about that. So what are ways that you can create more humorous practices in your life? How can you be lighter at times? And even being able to access this in times of challenges and conflicts. And using a funny, goofy name for our character trait in that moment of stress and tension and reactivity, it really helps deflate the build-up of the emotions that are overpowering you. And now about play. I would like to encourage you guys to have a play date, night or morning or afternoon. I call it a play date, not just a date. Maybe because I'm a mom, and as a mom of a 4-year-old, I have to, I want to have some nice play dates for my son and hang out with my female friends, the moms. And so the idea of having a date is to have fun and to play with one another. And this is a good intentional way to create some space for the two of you to build on connection, to build on intimacy, to build on desire, and to be more adventurous and have this sense of discovery that is essential if we want to have access to passion, which we all kind of want a little bit more passion in our lives. So once we've been in a relationship for a long period of time, in my case it's been more than 11 years, the passion is not as spontaneous as it used to be during the dating or honeymoon phase of the relationship, which tends to last 2 to 3 years, whereby both partners are kind of hormonally charged and full of oxytocins and feel this feel-good hormone, and we are more spontaneous and connected to the desire between each other. So I love the work of Esther Perel. She's a psychotherapist and a relationship therapist, and she has several talks on TED, and she basically encourages people to set aside a moment, whether it's an hour or two or weekend together, to create play and connection. For you guys, it could be anything. It's not necessarily going out to dinner and a movie, okay? It's whatever you guys would enjoy doing together. It's an activity, or it's a time and space that you have reserved just for the two of you. And so that means no children. And it could be something as simple as going to watch the sunset or the sunrise together. Or it could be going to your favorite restaurant. It could be listening to some jazz music. It could be playing an instrument together. I know I have some friends who are really into mountain biking. Their play date is going mountain biking together in the morning and then stopping somewhere to have a nice sip of coffee. It can be whatever, but it needs to be something that you both enjoy doing. And in the case of me and my husband, our play dates are very simple. We used to do the whole let's go out and go to the restaurant and dress nicely and this and that. But it did not allow for us personally the time to have conversations and to create a bit of the desire and the passion and being a little bit more physically demonstrative, if you will, in a restaurant setting. So what works for us is that we're just home, and we do this on a regular basis, at least once a week. So for the two of us, it's just being home, and we're doing this, we're setting the time away for our play date in the evening after we have tucked our son into bed and he's deeply asleep. Then, close the door, create our own intimacy space, and we have some candles. We turn the light down. We have some little fairy lights, candles. I said that already. We use our Himalayan salt lamp, which creates this beautiful atmosphere in the room. We have some romantic or loungy type of music in the background. Usually we have some delicious snacks, and sometimes a glass of wine, sometimes it's tea, sometimes it's milk and cookies. It doesn't really matter. But we set up a space for just the two of us where we can recreate a moment of relaxation, where we can allow ourselves to be exploratory, not only in discussions that we have with one another, but also physically. So think about wonderful play date, whether it's the morning, the afternoon, or the evening, and have this on a regular basis. There are some statistics out there about the amount of time you should have sex with your partner, and really I think it depends on you guys. A happy, healthy average would be once a week, but it does not need to be like that. It can be flexible and fluid. And your date, your play date, does not necessarily need to lead to sex. It does not have to. So I don't want you to feel the pressure to create it in this respect. Because I know it's a turn off for me, and I don't know what it's like for other people. It might be a turn on for you to be like, ooh, we're going to create this little moment between my partner and I, and this is going to lead to sex for the two of us, and that's going to be great. If that's the case for you and it works, great. But don't add this pressure on you if you want to first focus on the connection and the intimacy and building the desire and the closeness and the physicality of being in an intimate relationship. You are in an intimate relationship. There needs to be some kind of physical touch that feels good for the two of you. Another thing that Esther Perel talks about is that the happy and connected couples who are passionate and have a good intimacy with one another do not believe in the myth of spontaneity. They know that what she calls the foreplay pretty much ends or begins at the end of the previous moment of passion and sex and eroticism, basically. So there's an ongoing build-up, and it comes and goes through life. And she says that the people who are best able to reignite the desire and to create some time and space to create it consciously are the ones who succeed the most over time. I know this is a belief that I used to have after the honeymoon period of our relationship with Steve, that I had this belief that, I was not turned on like spontaneously like I used to be more frequently, obviously. And I was wondering what that was, not really knowing that it's actually a pretty normal process. So to recreate some passion, to recreate some desire, be willing to intentionally create some moments for you and your partner to be in intimacy and in exploratory discovery mode, whether it's with your experiences that you want to share with one another, but also through all of your senses. So go ahead, set up your play date with your partner, and whether it's an hour, 2 hours, a day, or a weekend together, make that special connection and make sure that you have this happening for you on an ongoing basis.